Hi, this is Gingersnap, episode 85. I'm Lisa Redfern. This is a conversation and a cookie with a creative Mainer. My creative Mainer today is George Pearlman, and we are here in his home and his studio in St. George. And
Hi.
Did I say your name already?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. George Pearlman.
That's me.
So this is an incredibly beautiful studio and an incredibly interesting and beautiful home. And I recommend, before I'm even going to let you talk, that I've passed by this studio going, heading in this direction so many times. And then I think, knucklehead, you should have stopped by because it's so incredible. It's
a lot of people say that.
I know. Well, don't let yourself say it. Just stop by.
I drew and I designed and I hammered together the building myself. And I purposely made it a little not appealing to the masses because I didn't want to deal with people that wanted ice cream and bathrooms.
Oh, yeah, don't come here for ice cream and bathrooms.
I wanted to be someone who's an adventurer, like, oh, what's that? Look at that art in the window there.
All right.
So I maximize my time with real appreciators.
Well, I'm a real appreciator, and here I am. So anyway, this is episode 85.
Wow.
And I'm very excited to be here. I've been trying
85!
Woohoo! We're 85. Okay, so George, tell everybody about I've seen your work now in person and online, and I know I can tell everybody all kinds of amazing things.
You can?
Like he's in the Smithsonian Institute.
Yeah, I've shown there. Yeah.
And like
I just found out I'm in the New Orleans Museum of Art just last week. Yeah, I'm in their permanent collection. Yeah.
Wow. It's really extraordinary work. And so what I would like you to talk about is what's burning in you that you are creating now.
Burning. Whoa.
Or smoldering or simmering.
Smoldering, not even that.
Tell the people whatever you want to tell them about your work.
I think it's just working every day, continuing to put energy in the same direction. I've been doing this 35 years.
Wow.
So there was a lot of fundamentalist artist energy for a long time. I was just like panicking with creative energy. And the questions got deeper and deeper and deeper. And sometimes self-referential and historical and whatever. But at this point, it's about what I do every day, put my energy gently towards the things that I treasure, and they keep feeding me. And
that's really
it's
beautiful.
kind of part of, it's sort of like exercising daily is a good idea for me. I don't always do it, but I hope my life is always better. And making art is that way for me too now. So sometimes I miss that burning. I get moments of that. Sometimes some pieces come out, I'm like so thrilled, I can't wait to get back to work and explore that idea. It's not like the fire is out, but when you start out like a new musical instrument, the first sound just rocks your world.
Sends you, yeah. That's true.
And then your first chord or your first song, and there's so many little steps. But when it gets deep enough, the landscape is pretty vast. And just like everyone says, the more I know, the more I know I don't know.
Right.
Unfortunately, so there's a certain humility that's built up. And so you never know. I'm doing my best to create a masterpiece, knowing most likely I'm not. But
Man,
you never know.
You are so quotable right now.
Yeah. Here.
Can you show them something?
Here's a master. It's pretty hard to...
This is a little piece. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's porcelain. I throw it on the potter's wheel. You can kind of see the throwing lines on there. And squared the form off with my hands while the clay was still kind of wet.
Wow.
And then these are all my own glazes. Do my own brushwork. This piece took about, 20 hours to do all the brushwork.
So when you say you create your own glazes, how does one create their own glazes?
I have a lab here at my studio, and I work with basically the elements from the periodic table, not all of them, but basic metals for making color and controlling melting point and controlling if it's shiny or satin or matte.
Wow.
And I might have a color in mind, and like this yellow color here, this yellow.
Like the citron-y, goldy green.
Yeah, it's not this. I don't know how the video will translate it,
right.
but in real life, from what I'm seeing, in real life, it has much more of a velvety, deeper yellow.
Yeah.
That took me about 5 years to develop.
Wow.
Just that color.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I have to find out how it interacts with my other glazes I've already developed.
Right.
And I had that in mind. I had a certain yellow in mind, and I found other things along the way. So it just changed the formula a little bit. Take my best guess. It's trial and error. It's sometimes accident.
Can we talk about your painting since we're we're sitting in front of a couple?
You can't.
My head's right in the mouth.
They won't fit in the screen. They're a little bit bigger than my pots.
I wish I could show you all the art that I'm looking at from right here. It's really fun.
Yeah, that's my wintertime thing.
Did you paint before you did ceramics?
I've been drawing my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And most of my drawing has been classical figure drawing. Charcoal, naked person, very formal, trying to get bones and skin stretched over bone and muscle puffing up the skin and light and shadow. And then that develops into, once you get those skills going, it's like, well, what do I want to say about this particular model?
Right.
But I ended up with stacks and stacks of drawings of people I didn't really know. And I'm like, what am I... This is a good exercise.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's certainly, compared to pots, which take months from beginning to end, a drawing can take 20 minutes.
Yeah.
A figure drawing.
Totally different experience.
Yeah. So there was a good relief from the slow patience required with making porcelain pots, big porcelain pots. Yeah, so, then I just started, took a brush to canvas because I was frustrated that pots just don't fetch the kind of prices that paintings do.
Even given all the work
that I put in? Yeah. In America, they don't. They just don't. Even the very top potters, while the prices are astounding, it's nothing compared to what the top painters make. And it's just our culture made it that way.
Yeah.
It's not that painting inherently is more valuable. Paint isn't more valuable than clay. We just decided that. If you go to Asia, clay is more important than paint. And they just decided that for their historical reasons, but it's a long story.
Wow, interesting.
George,
you're falling off.
Oops. So a painter friend of mine said, well, if you're frustrated that I'm getting $30,000 for a painting and you're only getting $3,000 for your biggest work, why don't you start painting? And it's like, why don't I start painting? I've been drawing my whole life. And I'm surprised this is what came out. And they're not, they show off some of my drawing skills, but it's a great way to emotionally, narrative, humor, paint strokes. I think we'll have all the painting ideas of, and light and dark and color, just a celebration of color, which in the winter in Maine.
Yeah, you need that celebration.
Very welcome to just color, and and working my, the craziness of winter out. So, so my paintings evolved, and I've been doing these 3 foot by 4 foot canvases for...
Yeah, I can't wait to look at that through that stack.
For about 5 years, we'll look through.
Cool.
I wish I could
I know.
But it would just block the...
They're so... You can. That one's...
I mean, what would happen?
What would happen? Let's see. There's a nose.
Really? I can't even... Right. That doesn't quite work out.
You have to come and make an appointment. Come see George. See his work. Okay.
Yeah, but my pots are what I'm known for. George Pearlman Pottery. St. George, Maine. And
Wow, that's so cool. So, George, when did you first come to Maine?
In
Here, come back.
1994. 1994.
Yep. Why?
I came here for an artist retreat after grad school.
Oh, wow.
A place called Watershed Center for Ceramic Art. Yep. So they give a subsidized studio space, postgraduate school, where I was getting my sanity back together. Go to a quiet place in Maine sounded great.
Stay there forever. Sounded good.
And I came here and turned out I love Maine.
But you were raised in
Queens, New York.
That's right. Yeah, I know you're from New York, but and then you lived in the city for a long time before you.
Not a long time, on and off. I kind of gave up on. I had a little bit of a corporate life there while I was putting myself through art school. But at some point, I quit. I was having lunch at the top of the Twin Towers. I was having lunch with my boss, who had oh
my gosh.
He actually said to me with a cigar in his mouth after this meal, "I got big plans for you, Pearlman." And I looked at him and I thought of Elmer Fudd, millionaire mansion. And I thought, I don't want to be
your plan.
Yeah. And I quit right there, and he flipped out, and then he stormed out of there. And
everybody thinks they know what we should do.
Yeah. So, and I was a broke artist for decades after that, but I traveled all over the world doing, it all developed.
Yeah.
So,
anyway,
great. I came to Maine after grad school. Worked out nicely. I wanted to live here, but I was also pursuing teaching jobs around the country and some other countries and showing all over the place and doing my best to be famous. And until I got sick of traveling. Yeah. And I just committed to building my studio. I found a building I could afford, this 175-year-old farmhouse, which was very cheap at the time, and I built my studio. Which doesn't fit in this picture either.
Maybe I'll show you some pictures.
Anyway.
I'll add some pictures to it.
Yeah. So Maine turned out really, people started finding me here on this road that a lot of people call the middle of nowhere. You'd be amazed who drives down this road.
Well, a lot of artists drive down this road because they're heading to go out to Monhegan for one thing. I mean, this is one of the ways to get out to go to Martinsville and
Port Clyde. Tennis Harbor.
Tennis Harbor. I mean, this is one of the mainiest of the main drives, I think, and peninsulas.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, what you're getting out to is just
the lighthouse and the harbor. Yeah. So incredibly, I blundered into this location, and enough people started coming to me that I stopped going to them, and I stopped teaching workshops, and I stopped running around the country, and I've managed to show in cities I could never show in because people have found me here. Right. But like when I lived in Philadelphia, I could barely get a show there. But when they find me here,
then they take you back to Philadelphia.
Yeah, same thing in New York.
Look what I found. That is great.
So I'm the diamond in the rough here.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So, okay, do you know your first word? And if you don't, what do you think it may have been?
Yeah, I'm hoping my first word was progressive.
Mom?
Progressive mama. Yeah, I don't know.
That's good. That's good. All right. Well, my first word was cookie. So we're having I'm going to show you. Look, it fits in these are huge. Like, these are the biggest cookies I think I've ever had on Gingersnap. They just went fuzzy. Oh, because
I have to put it like next to your head to really appreciate the size.
Look, it covers my face almost.
It really does.
So, I mean, I know I like to show how big the cookies are sometimes, but these
great.
Really, Well, these are from
cookie steak.
A cookie steak. These are from Maze. It's like the best place to have brunch, in my opinion. They do breakfast and I think they do lunch. But I went in there when I first was trying to figure out what to name this little podcast of Creative Mainers. I went in there and I had this Gingersnap, and I went in my car and I was like, "This is the best Gingersnap I've ever had." Oh, I'll call it Gingersnap. So in honor of the 85th episode here with George Pearlman, we are having the original, the real Gingersnap cookie.
They really are. Do they always have all of that sugar on top? Is that a normal way to... Is that what makes it a ginger snap?
No.
I can taste the ginger. This is like eating raw ginger.
I don't know.
I never make these.
Okay, George, did you have... Oh, that's right, you bake. Did you have a car when you were a teenager or an adolescent or with your family?
We had a car.
Really, really cool.
I think it was really cool.
And if you could get it back...
But at the time, it was not cool at all.
It's probably cool now, though.
Station wagon. My dad just station wagon. That's all we ever had.
Which kind?
A Ford. Ford station wagon.
With the way back?
With the way back and the seats that flip up.
There's only people in our decade that know about this.
Yeah, and the boot and the way back. This tiny seats flipped up, but the me and my two brothers could actually sit there in a little hole in the back. You know what's weird is they had more room in them than most SUVs have in them.
Really? You think that's true?
Yeah.
Huh.
And what a great vehicle it would be for artists, musicians.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, we have to get these trucks
Bring
and SUVs.
back the way back.
Yeah. Yeah. So I miss those station wagons.
Yeah.
You don't see. I saw one actually on the road just a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, oh, you really don't see them. They're gone.
We had a bunch too.
Yeah.
All right. So are
Not
you
a groovy car, but
sorry. Are you a big reader?
yes.
Okay.
I am.
So feel free to shower us with your recommendations.
Right. Well,
I love
always
finding out what people are reading.
I usually read like 3 or 4 or 5 books at the same time.
Wow.
And they just end up around the house, and there's one that's lives in sort of the breakfast area, and one that's by the bedside, one that's next to the couch, one that's near my studio, sometimes between.
Your brain must be wired differently than some people's if you can read that many books.
But yeah, but what's weird is it feels like they inform each other as I'm digging into one, and I don't even realize that they're doing that. Because I kind of pick a range of books, so I happen to have them right here.
Wow, that's so handy.
But
I'm sorry that they will be backwards.
This is like my political reading, okay?
Oh, I was interested in that.
Yeah, I love that it's like a navy blue blazer. That's very
It's
funny.
backwards, but it's a higher loyalty by James Comey.
Yeah, maybe that way works.
Yeah,
no,
that will work. I think it will. Anyway,
it's backwards and I already do it. And Elizabeth Warren's book, and they're and I just finished Jon Stewart's book.
Oh, my husband, Jon Stewart.
Yeah, and what's interesting is they're all written about the same time period, basically about what happened over the last 20 years. And there are 3 people who inadvertently found themselves kind of being like the leaders of the integrity of this time right now. I mean, Elizabeth Warren just wanted to help people who were going bankrupt from credit card debt or medical debt. Jon Stewart, actually, when he first signed up for his show, it was kind of a goofy, it wasn't nearly as thoughtful as it became.
Well, then he became so invested.
Yeah,
so
and
deeply,
he really became a social force when he saw he had all that power.
Right.
And influence, that people were getting news from him, and that it wasn't just about the jokes, it was about a real discussion and trying to create change. Same thing with Elizabeth Warren. And then James Comey, he actually talks about having integrity and the importance of truth, and that we shouldn't all just buy into this cynical. Okay, but the one art book I'm reading right now, David Byrne's book, How Music Works. Have you read it?
No, but I should. And
as a musician, I highly recommend it.
Okay.
David Byrne, from the Talking Heads, he's just, it's a wonderful discussion of music history and how it influences what he makes, but it's also a discussion of how with different rooms and technology and places where we perform, the music changed in response to the technology, going from vinyl to CDs to MP3s and cassettes, and how it changed how we trade music and how musicians learned and how we perform to the medium, rather than it coming from your heart. Most of it comes from the... so it's, again, a discussion of integrity and truth in music and what really motivates creators. Yeah. And it's easy to take his ideas across into visual art. I mean, it's just, what's cool is I'm seeing how musicians think about it. When normally I only read visual artist books where they discuss it in the same manner.
I find the same is true. If I love reading books about artists, and I always find those, braided ideas together. Exactly.
Yeah. And this is Tony Hoagland. I don't know if he's a poet. He's a contemporary poet. He's still alive. Amazing. And he's just very funny and cynical. I love his poems. I'm not going to read one for you, but Tony Hoagland, just look him up online, and I'm sure you'll find a poem that thrills you.
Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you for those.
Yeah. So, I recommend all those.
All right. Books. So, moving on to music and its influence on you. What albums were sort of a touchstone for you in your life?
I'm a keyboard player. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, I've noticed
the
your
piano
keyboard.
there.
I didn't ask you about it yet. But...
Yeah. Oh,
no, it's
blank.
still on. It just goes.
Yeah.
It just freaks me out when it does that.
So I love piano players,
Mm-hmm.
and it connects with David Byrne's book. Because you asked me ahead of time, think of what album is.
Yeah, yeah.
But music isn't really in albums anymore. I mean, it
I know.
is.
I still think that way.
But we all take from it like the spice rack now. Just
yeah,
a little of this, a little of that, and the whole concept album is gone. I mean, people still create them. You created one. I have 2 of your amazing albums.
Thank you.
But it's just now part of the toolkit.
Yeah.
Because more people just pick this song, and that song, and they're relating you to other artists. So, an artist I'm really excited about is Regina Spektor. You know her music?
I don't know her. I know who she is, but I don't know a lot of her music. No.
But in an album form, Soviet Kitsch is a nice collection that she made. Soviet Kitsch. But Regina Spektor, love her. But I have Chuck Leavell, keyboard player, used to play with the Allman Brothers.
Oh,
Went on to do solo albums. I'm a big fan of old jazz. When I'm playing, I like to play Charlie Parker tunes. I love following his craziness with my, like picking my way through his.
Does playing piano sort of give you like a little bit of a, if you've been in the studio or if you've been painting, or if you do you sort of feel like, I just want to play piano now for a little while?
Yeah, and music, no matter how wild I get or dull or whatever, it floats away. Pots sit there for eternity. I mean, our ancient history is ceramics,
Yeah.
So they sit around forever. So I feel more responsibility. Music is just, for me anyway. I mean, you're a professional, so I'm sure you have more pressure on your creations. But for me as a player, it's, and the way drawing was a visual relief from making pots, music is even more so.
Wow.
For me. So I do. I get a lot of, I get a lot of satisfaction from it. A lot of joy, and I like that I can just crank up my
That's great
keyboard and go crazy, and sometimes I don't even care. I'm just I almost sound like a kid banging sometimes.
Well, that must be great. I mean, to have that. Yeah, my mind just went in like so many other things that I want to ask you about after we wrap this up. But so is there, if there was a movie about your life, George Pearlman, what genre would it be, and who do you think they'd cast as you?
I'd like it to be an action movie.
Really?
Yes, an action movie. Because I think to be an artist and survive is crazy and dangerous, and I think I know it sounds ridiculous for people who have been in law enforcement and military, because that really is crazy and dangerous. But if you survive those jobs, there's some type of economic stability. There's so many artists I know they're taking a risk with their entire livelihood, with their ability to make a family, with their ability to pay for children, to have a car that works, and because they believe in this abstract idea of making art. So it seems like it would be an action movie to me, because it's like there's a lot of survival on your feet for me until I found this building and finally made my stand.
Yeah, it's great.
There was, a lot of risk taking.
Okay. Who's going to star as you?
Now that's harder. Because I actually am a fan of female action heroes.
Great. So you could have a woman play you.
Yeah, Maggie Quigley. She's this Hawaiian. She's from Hawaii.
Okay.
And I think she's actually Vietnamese Irish in her heritage.
Oh, wow.
But it's not her. Her as an actor, as who she portrays.
Yeah, okay.
In real life, people are a lot different. And from what I've seen of her real life, I don't really relate.
Okay.
Gina Davis, when she did Long Kiss Goodnight, that was like her only action movie. And there's something, all right, female action.
I love it.
Female action characters are different than male.
Yeah.
In male action, they're just like, they just beat the crap out of everyone, and they have these punch in the face contest moments where, they drop the guns and knives and they just go back and forth. They don't do that with female action heroes. They've got to be like, somehow they always have a family, and they got to be smart, and they got to be loving. They have to show that side, but they do what's necessary when it's necessary and never do more. And that's, I feel like I'm more of a female action hero.
Awesome.
I'm not just trying to be macho.
I love that you're the very first person who's chosen a. I love that. That is great. Yeah. All right, so if people want to get in touch with you, George Pearlman, we have to do, and I just realized we have 7% left on my, because I didn't plug it in for long enough. Okay. So we have enough time for you to tell them how to reach you and for me us to say goodbye.
Okay. The website is georgepearlman.com. That's easy.
Yeah. And if you're in the Rockland Camden area and headed south, he's really easy to get to.
On Route 131 in St. George. So I'm just 4.5 miles from Route 1. Yeah. So you can come to my gallery, give me a call, 207-372-9671. And I have the gallery open this time of year from 11 to 5. Okay. Pretty much every day.
That's great.
Because I'm here working, and this is when people are here. And so I'm here, ready to go. But call ahead, and I'm available for an appointment. You can look online. We can talk by phone. I ship pots all over the world.
That's great. You could be the lucky owner of a George Pearlman.
Yeah. But to see the paintings, you have to come into the house.
You should see the paintings. I'm going to close that little part. All right. This has been episode 85 of Gingersnap, Conversation in a Cookie with a Creative Mainer. Our cookies came from Maze in Bath. Thanks again if you tuned in, thank you for tuning in. I mean, we have fun. I don't know if you have fun watching it, but we have fun doing it. So I'm going to be back in a couple weeks. Let's see, what should I tell you? Quickly, I'm going to tell you that the next gig that I'm doing is at Blue in Portland with Jenny Van West, Kate Schrock, and Viva. And it's 4 women. It's a songwriter night at Blue. I think it's 7 to 9. So that's on Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me come into your home and studio, and that was fun.
Yeah, number 85.
Number 85, I know. Woo! All right, here we go. This has been Gingersnap.